All right, y'all, what's up? I let it sit for a couple of days. Not even a couple of days. I let it sit for a little bit. Obviously, we know what this is. Y'all gonna get these. Y'all gonna get these through this whole process, this whole Drake versus Kendrick. Because don't get it messed up. It is Drake versus Kendrick. Now look, real brief. From a competitive standpoint, I was disappointed in Cole apologizing. I was. I don't feel like that's enough for me to switch up. I seen a lot of there was videos and the titles and all of these other different things that rub me the wrong way, just because it's like if you're a legitimate Cole fan, you don't have a problem with what he did in totality. But aside from that, like I said, if you're competitive, if you're a person that is trying to compete, it's disappointing. It is. As a man, I fuck with it. I do fuck with it. That's how he felt. And it's funny because at the beginning of all this, I said if it really is that, if it's on that type of temperature, because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but we were all right when we said these niggas are homeboys. Like Kendrick and J. Cole are homeboys, bro. And that was apparent when he dropped the project, Might Delete Later, and he had Ab Soul on it. And I didn't know that Daylight was a part of TDE. That was confirmation right there. If you got a problem with somebody, their homeboys is not going to be on your project. So that's one. Number two, Kendrick did not say enough to me in his verse. I have his verse pulled up. So the parts where people was tripping the most, because once again, Cole did have some validity with what he said when he got to the second half of the 7 minute drill, when the beat switched up. Everything that he said was the truth. Y'all niggas be gassing. Y'all really gas stuff up. So let's break this down. The clicking up but cannot be legit no 40 water, unless you know who E40 is and you're informed about that particular line, you would have never known what the fuck that was. Myself included. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't. I'm just being honest. I'm a fan of Kendrick. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about right there. So you would just have to have been informed of the E40 and the legit situation. So you have that. So that's not scathing. Let's go before that. We had the first person shooter, fuck sneak dissing. Okay, Cole wasn't sneak dissing. Um, in my opinion, he wasn't sneak dissing. I mean, it's not sneak dissing when the validity of Cole's verse is "I'm the best," point blank, period. Then you have the fuck the big three. It's just big me. Y'all niggas just be gassing because it's just like what I took from Cole's version of it. Love when they argue the hard. It's like regular conversations. Like, man, I love when they be arguing. Is he the best? Is he the best? Is he the best? Nigga, I'm the best. What now? That's all it was for me. It wasn't nothing where it's like I'm dissing or no shit like that. Then people look too deep into the Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's like, bruh, Drake is the one that's on the song with him. I'm gonna say him. And then people like there was speculation, oh, Kendrick was supposed to be on it. I was like, okay, well, hypothetically, let's say Kendrick was supposed to be on it. How the hell would the particular line where he says the Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake and K Dot, that wouldn't have fit. That wouldn't have fit in that pocket. So it's like, that's a reach for me. It could be true, but I'm just saying it's a reach. I'm not saying Cole ain't clever, but I'm just as a person who writes himself, it's like, I mean, there's a way you could figure out how to fit in that pocket. He just had to have said it different. But anyway, then we go to, let me see. We got the Prince and Mike Jack. That's Drake. Then we got the If He Walked with a Stick is Andre 3K. That's still Drake, because Drake's part of first person shooter when he was throwing up the hands like he's shooting and shit. This is all for Drake, bruh. So with that being said, it's like it's not enough for Cole to jump out and be like, oh, that's what we do. Like Cole should have waited. Cole actually shouldn't have responded at all. Um, and that's how I was feeling at the beginning, even though I did want him, like the competitive version of me was like, oh, if it is on that time, I want to hear what Cole has to say. Everything Cole said was not, he wasn't lying on the second half of the 7 minute drill. He went crazy. But y'all gassed up this. The hardest line in this entire verse of Kendrick's was the K9 bar. That was the hardest line. And even that is not, it's not scathing, because it's like that was the most direct. For all the dogs, That was the most direct. That's one of them situations where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, me, I'm talking to you. Yeah, that's what that was for me. So it's like the excitement of Kendrick being present again and all this other shit. I felt like gassed up the whole line. I'm not saying it's not a top tier. Is it a top tier verse? For me as a Kendrick fan, no. This shit does not compare to a Control or a Heart Part 4 for me. No. This is not a scathing verse for me. This is one of them verses where I'm talking to Drake. Drake need to make a move. Now let's get to that. Um, in conclusion, I still fuck with Cole heavy. Cole would be my favorite if there was a problem between them. I knew they was homeboys, so I was just like, there ain't really too much you could really say. Um, it's just one of them things where Cole shouldn't have responded because there just wasn't enough there. There wasn't enough in Kendrick's line to tell Cole, hey, I'm shooting at you. Like I said, the way that we feel about what Cole did is exactly how we would have felt if Kendrick didn't uh throw a little bit of a dig at him on this, because the talk of the conversation would have been, okay, well, Drake wasn't the only one on the first person shooter track. Why didn't you shoot at J. Cole? Niggas would have been getting at Kendrick. But I digress. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. As a person who stopped listening to Drake's music after Views, because I want a thoroughbred hip hop album from Drake, that's just a personal thing. Drake is one of the greatest to ever do this shit. And that nigga is nothing to play with when it comes to strategy and rapping. This nigga can rap his ass off. But look, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why Drake got the upper hand right now. First of all, Drake is still Drake. Now, Drake's not my favorite to win in a back and forth with Kendrick. But if Drake does what I feel Drake can do, I'm gonna tell you how he could possibly do it. I'm gonna be real. I know it's early, but this would be the perfect opportunity for him to put out a Scary Hours 4. And here's why. Metro and Future sold 250 together. When you're talking about going toe to toe with a nigga, and we just talking sales, when you're talking about going toe to toe with a nigga who by himself averages 447K and up by himself, you lost. You lose. So in sales, you're losing. So you can't get Drake in sales. Then we talk about why they're at each other's throats. Over a female, bruh. Did you not realize that Drake is like the king of petty? That nigga's like the god of petty. So you're gonna lose there. So there's nothing there. And then Future's not a better rapper than Drake. We already know this. Metro can't rap. So it's just like, this ain't really a back end. It's really petty, if we're being honest. So that cancels those two out. Because Drake can get petty and he's gonna sell records. And Drake wholeheartedly has a record that will knock Metro and Future out of the number one spot. Drake's not worried about that. Then you have Rick Ross. Y'all would have to tell me if y'all feel like Rick Ross can even go toe to toe with Drake. Well, we already know he can't go toe to toe with Drake in sales. We already know that. So there's nothing to talk about there. Rapping wise, me personally, I don't think that shit is even a debate. Personally, like, Ross would have to really do something amazing, and then there may not even be shit there in the first place. Like, who gives a fuck if a nigga don't follow you on social media? That's number one. Nav, don't nobody give a fuck about Nav. Let's be real. Anyway, moving on. It's Kendrick versus Drake. It was always Kendrick versus Drake. If Drake does a Scary Hours Part 4, he could do 3 records. He could have a hit to knock Future and Metro out of the number one spot. And he could have another record where he is proclaiming that he is the guy to beat. He is the number one guy. That's the second record. And then he has a record which will also go crazy. And then the record that we all want is his response to Kendrick. I think that would be the perfect formula for a Scary Hours 4. However, like I said, I don't know Drake. I don't know what's in his head, but This nigga has the upper hand because when you take everything into account of what I like, take everything I said into account, fam, I don't think Drake is pressed for real. Like I really don't. He gonna say some shit to Kendrick because Drake's never really ran from competition. Like I'm not rocking with the whole battle tested shit. That shit's stupid to me. Like when a nigga is nice, a nigga's nice. Like y'all kill me with the battle tested. Like Kendrick and J. Cole are not battle tested in totality. Like these, bruh, Cole was beating niggas older than him when he was rapping against him. Stop it. Kendrick was rapping for niggas, and I don't know if Kendrick was battling anybody, but he was rapping, he was freestyling for niggas in like in school, bruh. Stop it. Cut it out with the battle tested shit. Y'all kill me with that. Especially Joe Budden. Nigga, you lost the Hollow to Don, my nigga. Let me say that one more time. Joe Budden, you lost to Hollow the Don. No disrespect to Hollow the Don, nigga, but Joe, you not supposed to lose to Hollow the Don, my brother. You lost to Hollow the Don. Anyway, that's all I really got on it. I think Drake he's gonna have the position to take the upper hand if he does anything that I just said. Like if he got a record that knocks Future and Metro out of the #1 spot with their album, and then he's petty, and then they drop the second part of their project this Friday, and then he comes with another record that knocks that shit out of the #1 spot, it's over for the Metro and Future shit. It's over for that. The Kendrick shit is what we're all really, really waiting for, because if he comes back with a scathing Hail Mary haymaker gut shot, and now Kendrick is left to respond to it, we got action. We got action. I'm gonna get up out of here. That's how I feel. Cole, I still rock with you, bruh. Like, I don't think anything changes. That the whole big three talk, y'all gotta stop it. All them other niggas that y'all had filling in his spot can't out rap this nigga, and they don't outsell this nigga. So stop. Just cut that bullshit out. The nigga is still that nigga is still him. So I'm out, bruh. I'm all at y'all.